Hello and greetings, everyone. Welcome. Wherever you're tuning in from, we are so glad to have you. Welcome to our second edition of the Diplomatic Talk series. This program is presented by Coaches United Nations Simulations, a flagship program of Coaches of Influence Foundation. My name is Margaret Ellis, and I am so thrilled to serve as your host for this prestigious occasion. I am so glad that I am not the only one today. I share platform with a very dynamic young lady as a co-host in the personality of Miss Binet Roberts, whom I will introduce to you later. But for now, before we do anything, we would like to invite you to join us. And as we also invite Miss Binet Roberts to join me on the platform. Binet, I hope you are here with me. So we can go ahead and begin this program. Everyone has been waiting, they are anticipating. We are ready. So Binet, welcome on board.
I am here. Glad to be on board. I'm super honored to co-host with you, and it's an honor. And I hope to get this one again.
Thank you very much, Binet. This is awesome. This is awesome. So, Binet, you go ahead and take us through the opening because we want to set the right stage by giving God the honor that he deserves. Because this is we are here today because we are given life and the privilege to be alive. So whatever we are going to discuss, we need God's help. So Binet, go ahead and take us through that segment, and then we will come back and begin for real. All right, Binet, over to you.
Let us now begin with a prayer individually. Amen.
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 Thank you. So some of you may want to know, who is this dynamic young lady? We have not seen her before, maybe on this platform, and today here she is. She is looking all adorned and professional. So let me introduce Binet Roberts to you, my co-host. Thank you, Binet, for being here with me. Well, if you're meeting Binet for the first time, or you've even known her, I want you to still allow me to tell you a little bit about Binet. So Binet Roberts is a dynamic young lady known as a business consultant and a political analyst. What a perfect suit, a perfect match for this program. She understands politics. So she is an alumni member of the African Youth Leadership and Entrepreneurship, and Binet is also the associate member of the Youth Connect Gambia chapter and youth lead advocate for women and child's rights with Activista also in the Gambia. And Binet's involvement with politics is deeply rooted in her role as an election watch regional coordinator in her native country, the Gambia. Binet, the Gambia is glad to have you. You are an asset to the nation. And Binet is also, above all, she is an alumni member and a mentor of Coaches of Influence Foundation and the organization that is behind this program. But I am so excited, Binet. You are all of this and more. But my excitement today is that you are also the co-host of this program. So Binet, welcome on board.
I am honored, Doctor. I am really honored. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. So now let's dive into the program. Binet, do you have any remarks that you would like to share before we dive into the program? What is your excitement, Binet? Why are you here? What are you most excited about for this program today? Tell us. Talk to us, Binet.
I am super excited because many of us as youth would love to wear diplomats. We want to be a diplomat in the future. They will think that a diplomat is just about talking, but it's about thinking, mediation. You have to negotiate and you have to pay heed, be positive. It's not about negativity. It's about the positive energy that you show to people and you talk to them. And this is what we want to correlate to everyone here, that we talk diplomatics, we breathe diplomacy, and then we negotiate diplomacy. That's it.
All right.
Thank
Are you guys not excited? I'm not seeing thumbs up. I'm not seeing the reactions. Are you guys not excited to have Binet talking right now? Binet, we are so glad to have you. And I am telling you, we have two diplomats right now, two honorables that are ready to go, two honorables that I highly, highly respect. Honorable Karu is a man that I highly, highly respect. And I could not have had this program without Honorable Karu on this platform. Honorable Mbo has earned my respect and admiration by just the way he has been responding, carrying himself, and even the one that introduced him to me spoke highly of him. And I am speaking highly of Honorable Karu. So we are about to have a very dynamic and robust program this afternoon, or this morning, or this evening. It depends on where you're logging in from. So we are all set in motion now. But before we crank the engine and start this aircraft, this airplane, we need to share some important information. So if you are just joining us for the first time, welcome to the Diplomatic Talk series, brought to you by Coaches United Nations Simulations, which is a flagship program of Coaches of Influence Foundation. Yeah, Coaches of Influence Foundation is known to many as COIF. And COIF is a youth and women's organization that is focused on raising an army of influencers for intergenerational impact. So let's talk about the Diplomatic Talk series a little bit further. This is an innovative program which was launched on May 25th of this year, 2023, and it was launched by the young and dynamic Secretariat of the Coaches United Nations Simulations under the leadership of Honorable Abdul Karim Baji and Honorable Bernadette Mendy, the Secretary General and the Deputy Secretary General, respectively. And they have launched this program along with the leaders of Coaches of Influence Foundation with a singular goal. And the goal is to foster informed discussions, to promote democratic values, and empower Africa's youth to become active leaders in shaping the continent's future. That is what this is all about. This is about equipping, it's about preparing, it's about marinating the African youth in the art of leadership, so they can be ready to grab the horn of Africa and drive this horse to its destination. So listen to me. I don't know about you, but I am very eager to dive into the discourse, because the topic today is a very critical topic. These are very, with Liberia's elections just ending yesterday and the president being announced, with all the events that have been taking place in the continent of Africa, especially in West Africa. This topic is timely. This topic is critical. And the topic today is the pathway to Africa's transformation, democracy, and youth-led governance. So I want you to get ready to engage, get ready to be informed, get ready to be educated by our very experienced and highly respected speakers.
All right. If these two noble guests and honorables, if one thing I can say that I've learned from them today is timing. They came right on time and are before the time. And also, that is how diplomacy is. We do the time thinking. And I would like to honor Mr. Honorable Alajimbo. Honorable Alajimbo is a serving second 5-year term as an elected lawmaker from the Gambian National Parliament. He represents the Gambia in the Pan-Africanism Parliament, an organ of the African Union, AU, in Johannesburg, South Africa, where he serves as the chairperson of the West Africa Clause and Caucus and a member of the Committee on Education, Science, Technology, and Innovation. I am honored, and it is a well deserving honor too, bring you up on this platform. Honorable Mo.
Thank you very much, Binet, and thank you very much, Dr. Ellis, for having me on this show for the first time. And I'm really very proud to be here to talk to the audience. And I just want to connect on the existing protocols just to say good afternoon wherever you are. Here in the Gambia, we say good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I secondly call on Honorable Kura Simon Elisha. Honorable Kura Simon is a former Deputy Chairman of the Human Rights Commission and the current Secretary of Young Parliamentarians Forum of the 9th National Assembly in Nigeria. We will know more about him as he presents himself, and I am deeply and we are all happy to welcome him. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, and my dear Honorable Sir, and the host and co-hosts, Ellis and Bennett, I guess, so that I don't murder your name. My name is Karu Simon Elisha, and I was a member of the 9th National Assembly, and I served as a deputy chairman of the Human Rights Committee, and then various other committees within the House. And then I also served as the Secretary of the Young Parliamentarians Forum. And currently, I am the Special Advisor to the Office of the Speaker on strategy and program development in the 10th National Assembly. So it's a pleasure to be on the platform today, and I look forward to a fruitful engagement, and I'm excited to be here once more. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I now also introduce Honorable Suleiman Jammeh. He is also a public service who currently represents Bundung Kakunda, constituency of the National Assembly as a member. He is the chairman of the National Assembly Committee on Local Government and a member of the Finance and Public Accounting Committee, FPAC, from 2013 to 2022. He served as a councillor for Bundung 6 Junction, and we tend to learn more and how to represent us in the National Assembly. Thank you, sir, Mr. Jammeh. You're welcome, Honorable.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure having me here, and I want to use the opportunity to thank all my colleagues and friends who are currently online for us to have a very nice and very important conversation. And I'm really honored to be, part of this platform to discuss with you on issues that will add value.
Thank you, Honorables Karu, Honorables Jame, and Honorables Mbo for being here, and we are ready to hear from you. I will just go ahead and begin by asking one question to each of you. And by the time you are done with responding, I will hand over the moderation to someone else. But for now, I want to go with, first, I want to begin with the question for Honorable Mbo. Honorable Mbo, I have a question for you. What is your view on youth participation in governance of Africa? You are sitting in South Africa or being part of the Pan-African Parliament, which is housed in South Africa, representing the Gambia in the Pan-African Parliament. I want to ask you, Honorable Mbo, what is your view of youth participation in governance of Africa? Honorable Mbo, take it away.
Yes. Thank you very much, Dr. Ellis, and then thank you very much, Honorables Suleiman and my other colleague from Nigeria. You've asked a very important question. And in order to get into the answers, I think it's also important for us to understand the youth demographics on the continent. Now, research actually has shown that by in 2020, we have about almost more than 1 billion people that are considered part of the youth population. So that is actually telling me a lot that Africa is very youthful. But do we see the same actually translated into parliament, into the executive? The answer, unfortunately, is actually no. We have a lot of youth on the continent, but that actually has not been transformed into leadership positions, into the governance architecture. However, there is hope in the sense that you have the political parties across the continent that actually have started to see the importance of youth, and in fact, some actually have created youth wings that are actually working together with everybody to ensure that they participate in the political dispensation. Now, on the side of the parliament, you will realize that actually we in the Gambia, for example, we have a very young parliament. In fact, some people actually have confirmed that Gambia may be one of the youngest parliamentarians on the continent or actually across the world, which we are yet to confirm. But what is clear is we have 21% of the parliamentarians in the Gambia below the age of 35. And that is really, really very high. Now, as young as 26 years of age, we have that in the Gambia. But then, if you look at the African continent, at the Continental Parliament, where we have all countries represented, you're going to realize that there's just a handful of the youth population that are part and parcel of the African Parliament. And that's really a very big concern. It is a concern because how do you expect them to participate in governance? How do you expect them to show their leadership skills in those forums when they are not on the table? It's going to be really very difficult. So generally speaking, I think there's a lot that needs to be done on the continent in terms of allowing the youth to be part of governance structure, but at this stage only at the level of the political parties, where you actually have seen a very vibrant youth wing, and that is not only in the Gambia but across the continent. You see them in many countries. Now, I may also not hesitate to say that. Now, if you look at the executive, for example, on the continent here, I am not aware of any high position in terms of an ambassador, in terms of a minister, in terms of a permanent secretary, where you can consider that person as a youth. That is a very big concern. The only one I'm aware of was a lady that was serving on the African Parliament, was my colleague, and she was made a minister, and then she was actually considered as a youth. Outside that particular example I can give, I do not know of anyone. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I am not aware of any youthful person that is serving in a very high position in governments, in terms of being an ambassador, in terms of being a minister, or in terms of being a permanent secretary, or where you are on the table for decision making. This is a very big concern. Taking a look at the overall numbers in terms of the population, where you have a very youthful population on the continent, so that's a very big concern. So it's moving slowly, but I think at the level of the parliament, we have started to see some changes, where we are actually getting more young population being part of the parliament. So they are not too young to run. So now I think what we got to do now is to move into the next stage, which is on the side of the executive. We need to see more youth coming into the place, because otherwise, if you disenfranchise them, there's a potential cause for trouble. Because at the end of the day, on employment, at the end of the day, you may see brain drain on the continent. And this has been going on for too long, and we need to find a way to halt that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mbo. That was a very profound response. And I have some takeaways, but I'll just keep calm and wait to the end so I can share my takeaways. But this is very profound. Young people, I hope you're listening. I hope you're all ears. I hope you have grabbed a friend. I hope you have shared this discourse. You have shared the link to a friend. You have put it on your social media platform. You are telling all young people, come on board. We cannot continue to sit on the sideline and complain. You need to be in the game. You need your feet and hands need to be in the mud. If you want to be heard, you want to be given a place, you have to participate. We cannot you from your house to bring you, but when you come out, you'll be given a seat. So grab the young people, get everyone who is angry with their governments, all the people that are complaining about their presidents not being effective, about their parliamentarians being ineffective seats. Whoever thinks that African leaders are not doing well, this is the day and the time for you to come and learn. How do you get yourself ready so you can move in the seat and go alongside them to also lead and also contribute? Thank you very much, Honorable Mo. For now, I'll move on to Honorable Karu. Honorable Karu is my brother and my friend. I just love this man. I speak so highly of you, Honorable Karu, in our organization. They all know you. Every time I mention Honorable Karu, I tell them he got to speak. When we hear from him, you will understand what I'm saying. So, Honorable Karu,
Thank you.
as
Thank
Secretary
you.
of the Young Parliamentarian Forum in Nigeria, Honorable Karu, what is the most valuable lesson you have learned about youth governance? Because you are there, you are still in there, you are still participating and working as a Secretary of Young Parliamentarian Forum. You have seen a lot. So we want you to share with us the most valuable lesson you have learned about youth governance. Over to you, Honorable Karu.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for all the shower of accolades and your confidence in me as a person. Quite appreciated. I appreciate that. Speaking to young people, I think what is most important for an African young person is to understand the value in him or herself, understanding that you count as a number, you count as a person, and you count in terms of value to Africa as a society. Your age is significant, and what you carry and the purpose of you being born in Africa or you being born to an African identity has a value to the global system. You were not born in the wrong planet, and you were born with a particular purpose. I think that's what is important for young Africans to get to understand, that we are all valuable first, but there's a task and there's a call. We must first identify who we are and get to know what role we need to play within Africa and get in the business of playing that. A lot of times, young Africans don't get involved in the governance of Africa because they do not know where or what role to play. In the video that was played earlier, we could see that young African leaders, the Pan-African leaders who began the revolution in Africa, had a purpose. Each of them had a sense of purpose, and each of them had a passion for something to call. And I love what Ellen said when she said leadership knows no gender. This is a spirit of a woman speaking from a context and a depth of understanding that leadership does not have gender. Leadership is a spirit, and whoever dares to take up that spirit leads. So for me, my understanding working as the Secretary of the Young Parliamentarians Forum is that we are not any better. Sorry, they are not any better than us. We get to become what we desire to be by the roles we pick up and understanding our identities and understanding the purpose we were created for. So I think there are a lot of blank spaces within the governance because young people are not taking them up. So some of the people who are currently occupying them are there accidentally because there's no one. You know, there's no vacuum in leadership. If you don't take your place, somebody takes it. So we need to understand that if we desire as a purpose to play a significant role within the African governance, then we should be it. There is no leadership or there is no space that gets to come to you and say, take this space and become what it is, without you becoming that within you and then manifesting it eventually. I love what one of American presidents said. He said, leadership is not given, it is taken. So young African leaders must understand that first, before you are able to take that space within the African governance structure, you must identify that role you want to play and be that on a daily basis. And one thing I want to add here is that before I got to the National Assembly, I was working within the civic space. So I was already occupying a space of purpose, working with young people and empowering them to live productive lives. And one fateful day, I attended an event of the Young Parliamentarians Forum at the National Assembly. That was the 8th National Assembly. And I was moved by the presentation and the event that I actually saw. Before I left the National Assembly, I told myself that I want to be in this platform of the 9th National Assembly. And because I had already come with an experience and with a number of years of participation actively at the community level, I decided to delve into politics. And behold, I became the secretary of the 9th National Assembly of the Young Parliamentarians Forum. Purpose. So young people must get to understand that we set goals and work towards them. That is what makes us successful. Success is not a thing to pursue. Value is what we need to become. People of value, people of purpose, and success comes to us naturally on that part. So if there's any lesson I have learned in my few years working as a parliamentarian and as a secretary of the Young Parliamentarians Forum for young people, is that we must define, design, and understand who we are, pick up an identity, and then work towards it. We have to be that identity within us. And then it can attract any position. It can attract any political space for us. And it makes us more relevant, even in the discharge of such opportunities when we get to occupy those positions. So we must be ready for leadership. And then leadership naturally comes to us. So I think I want to take a break at this point. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. I just want to burst into, between you and Honorable Mo, you are dropping nuggets. And I just want to burst into sharing what I'm getting. I don't know if young people, you are listening. Are you here? Let me see the thumbs up. Let me see the comments coming. Let me see. Give us a clue that you are here, you are connected, because what is happening right now, what you're being taught right now is exactly what you need, so we can decrease the complaints and the whining, and we can get to action and contribute to the development of our continent and our nations. So I hope you are here. Let us know you are here. We want to make sure that you are preparing your questions. You cannot have all these honorables in the room and not ask them how you can become one, or how you can prepare yourself to start moving in that direction, how you can be a person of value. So I hope you're preparing your questions. We'll get to that. If you're tuning in for the first time, welcome. This is Diplomatic Talks, presented to you by Coaches United Nations Simulations. And the topic on the table today, we are talking about democracy and youth-led governance, because we believe that this is the pathway to Africa's transformation. So tell us where you are tuning in from. And as we move on to a question for Honorable Jame. Honorable Jame, I have a question for you. And the question is that as a national member, National Assembly member in the Gambia, I have this question for you. As a parliamentarian, Honorable Jame, what during and through your experience has been the response and participation of youth to being involved in this level of leadership? And if any, and what if any has been done and can be done to encourage their participation? In a nutshell, the question here, Honorable Jame, is that what have you seen youth do to contribute? How are they participating? Are they actively involved? And if not, what should we do? How can you encourage them to get involved? Thank you. Honorable Jame, take it away. Honorable, you are speaking, but we're not hearing you. Are you on mute?
Oh, no. Are you
we
getting
get you
me?
now.
Yes, I
yeah.
to thank Honorable Alajimbo and Honorable Karu for that presentation. Basically, based on your questions, I think so far so good. As far as we are, the topic is all about how to get young people into, leadership decision or making, whatever. The issue now here is what we are doing as a community and as a nation. I want to start with at the community level, because basically at my community, that's the constituency that I represent, we have so many young people who organizes these organizational young people with organizations and stuff like that. So basically there are a lot of young people who are into different youth organization, like we call it civil society organization. So these are young people that we normally work with, and to ensure that at least they can pick it up from there. Because whatever you see, like when we want to talk about leadership here, it has to start from the grassroots, as you said, because the thing is you need to know what you want. You need to know how can you contribute towards the towards the nation in terms of decision making. So everything has to start from there. But thank God, as far as our community is concerned, we are able to have or identify one youth who is currently representing us at the youth parliament, because as a country already we have a national youth parliament. You know, this national youth parliament, I think it's all part of, it's all geared towards trying to promote youth into leadership, wherein they can involve, and at least in the future they can also participate in the political process, wherein they can vie for any position as far as the country is concerned. So basically at the national level, we have a national youth parliament who are currently, in fact, just a few weeks ago, they just had their sitting and stuff like that. So that national youth parliament, they normally work with their National Assembly members in terms of issues that concern the young people and the community. So for that being the case, this is something that we are doing. And as far as I'm concerned, my national youth parliamentarian, I am constantly working with her and also working with the general youth folk of my constituency to ensure that at least they can, be part of the political process. Because the thing is, as Dr. Karu, Honorable Karu said, because most of the youths, they just need to understand, if they want to be part of the decision-making process of their countries, they must have to have that initiative. So that initiative has to be something that you need to believe in yourself. You need to know the potential that you have. And if you want to go for the leadership position, you just need to believe in yourself. So this is why, in fact, coming to just to give a little experience, because I was a councillor, local councillor. So, and I served there for 2 terms. But you see, before I become a councillor, this leadership position, I got the inspiration when I was even less than 10 years. So this is something that I believe in, and I go with it. And today, I thank God that things are going as I wish. So the most important thing right now is, for us, as far as our country is concerned, that is the Gambia, one of the issues that we are doing, we have the National Youth Parliament, and also we have a National Youth Policy, which has captured most of the youth program and engagement and their participation in terms of national development. Because at the end of the day, as we know 60% of our country here is dominated by the young people. So, and these young people, they are the cream of to leadership position, I think is very, very important. But that for them to be in those leadership position, they also need to, come up, to take the challenge. They don't have to see themselves that they don't have the potential or they don't have the required resources. I know in terms of resources, we are all in Africa, countries varies. But basically, as far as the political system is concerned, and also leadership positions are concerned, is the responsibility of the government to ensure that at least they open up the space so that the young people can take charge, the young people can take their responsibility as far as the development of their country is concerned. But for me, what I believe in, everything has to start from the grassroots. So when you have to start taking responsibility at your community level, then you come up. Because this is how I became into politics to this level to become a National Assembly member, which I think is very important for them to start everything at the grassroots level. And so far, so good. As a country, we have that National Youth Parliament, and definitely all members of parliament, National Assembly members of the Gambia, they are all working with their national youth parliamentarian to ensure that they can share ideas together, especially on youth issues and stuff like that. So for that being the case, we are doing this, and we are also doing some, support to young people based on their programs and activities.
Excellent, Honorable Jame. That was profound. Thank you very much. I hope that the young people are taking notes. Do you see? I cannot even look at the screen. I am writing. I am taking notes. I am being schooled. I am being educated. I am being fed right now. Honorable Karu said something that hit me so hard. Honorable Karu is something that I just completed writing a little piece about the spirit of leadership. So when you said leadership is a spirit, I wanted to shout. I wanted to shout. Can everybody hear him? Leadership is a spirit. This is very exciting, Honorable Karu and Honorable Bo, Honorable Jame. Thank you for being here. I'm going to just take one more set of questions, and then I will step aside because we have another dynamic young lady, a moderator, in the personality of Honorable Bernadette Mendy, and she is the Deputy Secretary General for Coaches United Nations Simulations. So she will take you through the last set of questions, and then we come up with the Q&A, and then we hear from the young people what other questions they have. So Honorable Karu, how can the international community collaborate with the African youth to support and amplify their impact on governance and political development? And when we talk about international community, we are talking about the diaspora, the African diaspora. What role can they play to collaborate with African youth to support and amplify their impact on governance and political development? Over to you, Honorable Karu.
Yeah, well, I think it's better that you had to qualify the African community, sorry, the international community, because my opening statement would be no one is more African than an African. And therefore, there is no one, white or any other color other than the Black African from the original identity of Africa that can make Africa better than the same African. So yes, diaspora has a very strategic role to play in Africa because diaspora has a combination of civilization in the context of a cosmopolitan environment that has given the diaspora the experience of intercultural simulation, intercultural integration, intercultural, name it. That blend of cultures and understanding of the perspectives from different cultural backgrounds gives the diaspora that strategic value that could be added back home. And I think what you have on this platform is a very basic example of how diaspora can actually get to influence Africans, their fellow brothers and sisters, their children back home. Let us take the privilege of having the exposure around the world to see best practices around and updated patterns of life and programs that have elevated other societies and be able to see how we can replicate them back here. The beauty of ideas is that there's power in new thinking, there's power in ideas, but the beauty of it is that once somebody is able to do it, then it could be replicated. So what it means is that Africans should learn the habit of replicating whatever is good they have found anywhere. It doesn't have to be in Europe or America or Asia. It could even be in South Africa. It could be in the Gambia. It could be in Ghana. It could be in Ethiopia. It could be anywhere within Africa that we're able to understand that this is valuable and this is profound. I can actually bring it home. It doesn't have to be in the city. It can be in my village. There is a concept that I may have taken somewhere within Africa that could add value to us. So the beauty of what it is in terms of new ideas is that aspect of replication. So the basic things I would add here that the international community can actually engage young people is through programs like this. And the beauty of the internet. Today, we are able to converse around the world. People around the world can see us, hear us, and listen to us. Gone are those days when one has to travel from one city to the major city of his own country or the country's capital to get to participate in events. The internet, IT, has brought about things to our rooms anywhere. I could be in my village and watch this. I could be in my village and learn the entire world. The internet is the biggest opportunity that is being given to Africans to get to learn. So we can make Africa what we want to make it without necessarily even going there. So I feel the international community, particularly those in diaspora, should consciously invest in Africa and bring something home. I love the concept of representation. We say that there are three fundamental roles of a parliamentarian. First is to make law. Second is to oversight. And then I like the third part of it, which is very interesting, bringing representation back home. So if there's anything I need to tell the people in diaspora is, yes, you may have gone there for some other reasons, to also expand and also build yourself, but there should be the third component, bringing whatever you have learned there home, so that the privileges you have found could also be be replicated back home, because those who are at home see you as somebody who has actually also moved on. So I think we can bring our character, we can bring our learnings back home and see how we can expose our younger generations to also think differently. One thing I say each time I go to Europe and America is that today's leaders in America or in Europe may not be what they are if those who started had not sacrificed the time and character to build their own countries to where they are. So I think we stand at a better position today to change the trajectory of the history of Africa right now. What do we want to see Africa in 2063? What do we want to see Africa in 2050? The Africa we want actually is now. And whatever we do today tells a lot about the Africa that we actually desire. And that's what is important for diaspora. I think diaspora has a very significant role to translate what they have learned back home.
Thank you very much, Honorable Karu. Oh my goodness. Who is taking notes? Who is here? Who is awake? Who is taking notes? Who is learning? Who is setting goals right now as you're listening? Who is being motivated to start moving and shifting in your mind and planning on your debut to start participating, like Honorable Jame said, at the grassroots level? If you are responsible in your community, you can be trusted with a nation. If you are adding value to one man, you'll be trusted with 3 men. So let's not just sit around and wait for a position. Let's not sit around, and you can actually create a position, because if you are ready, you are seasoned, you are marinated, you are adding value, you are contributing. People see the value that you bring. They will, in fact, encourage you to lead them. People will call for you. People will ask you to come and lead them. So I hope you are taking notes. Oh, I am so excited. I'm hot. I'm excited right now. Thank you very much, Honorables. This is food. I am being fed this morning. Honorable Jame. So, Honorable Jame, what strategies can be implemented to bridge the gap between the older and the younger generations in the leadership process, and ensuring that there is a harmonious transition of leadership? You know, Honorable Jame, the truth is that anytime somebody is uprooted out of the seat without an opportunity for them to raise somebody and pass the baton, the entire nation suffers. Every time somebody is just fired from a position without someone else being seasoned and raised to take on that role, everybody suffers in that company, that organization, that community, that nation. And then now we see, just with the latest, even with the latest elections in Africa and the leaders that are stepping into power, we see that most of them are still the older generation. Even though today Africa has the robust population of youth, the most robust population of youth, the highest number of youth in the entire world, even though we have a lot of young people who have been working hard to prepare themselves, but we still have the older generation leading when it comes to governance. So Honorable Jame, what strategies do you think need to be implemented at the Africa level and the country level to bridge the gap between the older and the younger generations, so we can start giving them an opportunity to for leadership. Honorable Jame.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Ellis. Basically, it has to start from trying to build confidence between the young and the old. So the confidence, in a sense, is about how the young people confine themselves, how the young people, how effective the young people are within their community or within their constituency or within their municipality. And, because it's very important, because we're talking about the young people and the old. And normally, the young people should always succeed the old ones. This is why we always say this, okay, the young people, they are the future leaders of tomorrow. So, but equally, the older generation also need to, play a very important role. In a sense, they have to be responsible in their responsibilities, so that they can inspire the young ones, so that if they, inherit their position, or if they become in the leadership position, they can also behave well. They can also try to serve as expected, because this is very important, because it's two ways. So because the young will learn from the older one, and the older one should also try to, at least portray, or at least perform, very well, so that at least the young can emulate and inspire. So for that being the case, some of the strategies that we can do as Africa, as a continent, because if we want to promote youth participation in terms of leadership, because I know in most of the political parties, they have youth structures in their political parties. But in that area also, it's only few youths who normally get themselves involved into political, this thing, position and whatever, getting themselves into political parties and stuff like that. But the most important thing when we should talk about youth in leadership is, it doesn't only mean political position. We should have our young people in the ministerial position, at the community leadership position, permanent secretaries, ministers, you name it. So mayors and councillors, these are all positions that our youth can be. But one thing that I know is, as far as young leadership participation is concerned, in terms of decision-making process, we must invest on them. So as countries, as government, we must have to try and invest more into youth programs and activities. That's where they can explore and at least showcase their talent. And also they will have that sense of responsibility and sense of belonging, for them to be able to, at least showcase their potentials and their talent. So the other thing also is about, the young people also need to have, the environment, the conducive environment, for them to express, their opinion, their talent, and and so on. So, and also, if you want to perform, there must be certain things in place, because our young people, as far as health is concerned, we have to try by all means for them to be healthy. When I say healthy, that is healthy in the body and mind, because sometimes there are certain things that, okay, young people might use, because normally some of these drugs and whatever is associated to, to young people. So this one also, the government, we should all try to break that gap, wherein we can have future leaders who are responsible in the absence of using drugs. So, and education also is very important. When I talk about education, we're talking about capacity, because our young people, we need to give them the opportunity, the opportunity for them to be able to, at least build their capacity. So building their capacity, it could be at the level of the educational system, be it from secondary school to college to the university. Even after university, if we are working also, at least if you are trainable, and and they feel you can build your capacity to another level, It's possible, because in terms of, this is the only way we can definitely break the gap. But actually, what I want to just summarize, the young people, we must have to invest on them and create the conducive environment for them to excel. So this is what I have for now, as far as the relationship between the young and the old is concerned. The old should do their responsibility so that they can be able to inspire the young one, and they should not suppress the young people. They should give them the environment and open up, the space for them to be able to excel. The young also should also take responsibility, knowing their responsibility and know that they are young and they are growing up. So they should, at least try to, be responsible and know what they want. And if they take up any leadership position, they try by all means to deliver their best.
Thank you very much, Honorable Jame. I love your response to this question. I love the nuggets and the tips that, that you have shared. I just want to add that I believe strongly that Africa is the busiest continent when it comes to youth activities. There are so many platforms that are created for young people. Everywhere you turn in Africa today, as we are on this platform discussing, having a dialogue on this topic, I can tell you that all over Africa, there are hundreds of other programs, similar programs that are happening in every community. There are, I can tell you that even in my community, just my community in Africa, in the Gambia, there is something happening right now. So we don't have a shortage of activities. I believe that what we can also understand is that we cannot train and raise people through events. People are raised through process. So in addition to all the programs that we offer, in addition to all the funding that comes in the African continent for youth events, for youth programs, for youth projects, we have to also move away from activities. And when we give them so much information to chew on, we also create a platform for them to start utilizing and applying what they have been taught. So we combine events and process. We combine events and training. We combine events and hands-on. So we bring them on side by side. We invite them to these tables of dialogue. We give them an opportunity to make a decision. If you don't test them, you cannot trust them. So we have to give them an opportunity instead of just looking at them from afar. And when it comes to there is also a lot of misconception sometimes between the older and the younger generation. We tend to assume a lot that some behaviors are for the old and some are for the young. So I think that one of the things we can do to really bring the young people to the table is to dismantle some of the myths that we have about young people, is to dismantle some of the myths that young people have about the older generation. So we just come and allow people as they are. We allow people to come as they are, and we groom them and pluck off some feathers and scale off some of the scales so they can become. So that's just what I wanted to contribute, but we will come back to that in the Q&A. You'll have an opportunity to add more. In the meantime, I think Honorable Karu has something to share. Honorable Karu, you have something to add. Go for it.
Well, I think I just realized that I would allow the sessions to run before I add what I want to add on this part. But in the basic, maybe just to add, since
all right, thank you.
I think what young people and the old should also consider is that young is a phase of the entire cycle of the physical body we actually have. Part of the reasons why some people get old and still imagine that they are young is the sense of feeling that you want to belong. The same old people were once young, and we will also get old. So the earlier we get to understand that there are spaces and there are phases of life and certain responsibilities at each phase of life, then it helps us to number our days when it is time to move to the next level. A lot of times I tell people that if you see anyone who doesn't want to move from a particular phase of life, is because either the person has not found purpose or has not been able to manifest the trueness of the responsibility of that phase of life. And that's the reason why someone keeps to hold on. I can't imagine that I was sucking my mother's breasts when I was an infant, and I still want to do it at the age of 10. Meaning I have not been able to understand that I have grown or outgrown that position. So we need to begin to inculcate that thinking and spirit in the minds of the young people today, because they are the older generation, just like my honorable colleague said, that they are the leaders of tomorrow. So they must understand that leadership is also embedded with that sense of responsibility to also number timing and understand that it is time to move on and therefore pick up new responsibilities at a particular time. If there is anything we are lacking in Africa, particularly within the political space, is the space of coaches, the space of mentors who need to understand that I'm no longer a football player. I am now a coach. Let us use the soccer as an example. We have seen how very fantastic football players have moved into coaching. And if you look at it, a lot of people enjoy being on the field, being on the pitch to run around. Yes, the Ronaldos, yes, the Drogba, yes, the Eto'o, name them. But if you look at what truly happens to a football team, is that when the team is not performing, it is not sending Drogba away, it is not sending Eto'o away. Who is fired? The coach. So, but we have a lot of political leaders in Africa who wants to remain on the pitch rather than crossing over to the coaching line, where they need to translate their learning and experiences for the younger generations to also grow. I think that's exactly what we need to understand here, that there will be a time that Simon, Honorable Simon, will also be old and shouldn't be categorized as a young person. And therefore, whatever is meant for the youth should be for the youth. So this we must begin to build. So whatever we want to see, it starts now. The Africa we want to see in 2063 should teach the young person today that you will not forever remain young. You could have the spirit of a young person, but the body doesn't lie about it. It is aged. So you need to give those spaces for those younger people. So I think this is what I think I need to add for the honorable member who mentioned that.
Thank you very much, Honorable Karu. You have just answered the question why Coaches of Influence Foundation exists. We are here to raise up young people, an army of influencers for intergenerational impact. And that is what a lot of people, this is the mindset that a lot of people need to have. This is a mindset that a lot of leaders in Africa need to have. And when we talk about leadership on this platform, we're not only talking about those with a position and a title and are seated and wear a crown. Everybody is a leader in a sphere of society. So we have to start thinking of ourselves as leaders. When you wake up from bed, from the time you get out of your bed, you are leading someone. Someone is looking at you, watching you, learning from you, growing from you, or making horrible mistakes out of your work, of your daily work. So we are talking about leaders globally, that this is why we exist. The organization exists to raise our people so that they can be equipped, empowered to be able to step up and become everything they're supposed to become. So Honorable Mo, is your internet good now? Can we hear you?
Can you hear me?
Oh, excellent. All right. So, yeah. Yes, we can hear you very well. Very well. So, Honorable Bo, we go back to your question so I can hand over to Bernadette to take you through one more round of questions, and then we will be ready for the Q&A. So, Honorable Mbai, the question was, how can active youth participation in political leadership and decision-making, how can this contribute to the transformation of Africa's political landscape? That was the question. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Ellis. And I think this statement of leadership knows no gender, and leadership is a spirit. But can I add that leadership knows no age? Like Honorable said just a few minutes ago, it's just about a phase, it's a process when somebody actually matures from one cycle to another cycle. This must be understood. So, what I want people to also understand, let me give a situation of Gambia, for example. They said when you are 18 years of age, you can vote for the president, you can vote to you can vote any person. But the same constitution also tells you you must be 21 to be voted into office for being a National Assembly member. It's also telling you that to be the president of the Gambia, for example, you have to be 30 years. You see the disparity. 18 you can vote, but you cannot be voted in completely. That needs to change. And I think that needs to be understood across the continent. Because if you look at the majority of the youth are voting people into office. But until they are 21 or more, they cannot be voted into office. That is something that people need to look at. And it's the youth that can actually change that. So interest in leadership positions. Vie for those leadership positions. And above all, we must understand that, leadership, it doesn't, age is important. But also look at the upper age. We have some heads of state, 85, 90 plus years. There's no upper age limit. But then they say, when you are less than 30 years, you cannot be a president. But somebody can be a president of a particular country when they are in their 80s, when they're in their 90s. Think about that. So leadership also knows no age. The first is the process, 25, 18, 30, whatever. So those things we need to really understand. And we must do everything collectively together to change that notion. So yes, in the African continent, I think there's a lot that needs to be done. But the youth must take their rightful place in society. They must not wait for somebody to hand it over to them on a plate, on a silver. No, it's not going to happen. Because like Honorable just said, there should be a time when people understand that you need to move away from being a player to a coach. That's very important. But if someone doesn't actually understand that now it's your turn for you to be a coach, show that person that you are no longer needed, go and coach. Then they must understand. If they don't understand, tell them in their face that they need to understand. And that's the reason why I said earlier, you are not too young to run for any political office. We must not allow political parties across the continent use us and then continue to use us until they're in their 80s or their 90s. If we are not very careful, they will go with us to the graveyard. And we must prevent stop that from happening. So if you look at the African agenda, for example, Agenda 2063, for example, what do we want to achieve? What do we want to achieve by 2040? What do we want to achieve by 2030? And who are actually responsible? When we are saying that totally 60% of the youth plus actually of the continent actually are youth. But then their future, who decide our future? So essentially what I'm trying to say here is, if we are not on the table to decide, if you don't mind, you'll be on the menu. And that's what we need to stop. We must be on the table to decide the future of the African continent at all levels. Otherwise, we will be on the menu. God forbid. So essentially, we must.
Thank you very much, Honorable Bo. That is so profound. I am looking at some of these other questions, and I believe I've already started seeing the questions that are coming from the viewers and the participants. And most of what I would have asked you would address their question. However, we want them to also participate. We are talking about participation. So we want to also give them an opportunity to on this platform today. So everything is not just given to them. We want to make sure that we test their thinking, their critical thinking, to make sure that they are engaged in this forum, they are listening, they are participating, and they do have questions because they are thinking about solutions. They're thinking about how to get involved. So I will not go through the remaining questions for each of you, the next round of questions. Instead, at this point, I will ask you to give your final thoughts, your final advice, and then we would watch a video, and then we come now for the Q&A, because the young people are ready. They have a lot of questions that can take us through the remaining time that we have on this show, on this program today. Is that agreeable? Is that okay with you? Can we have
That's
you
right.
share your final words for now, so we can move on to the next segment and bring on the questions? We want to hear their voices. We want to hear their contributions. All right. So Honorable Jame, what are your final words that you have for now, from the two questions that you've responded to? What is your summary for the young people before we dive into questions? Okay, before we dive into the questions. Honorable Jame, are you there?
Yes, as the
Honorable
honorable
Jame, can
members
you hear me?
alluded, you know, as far as the young people are concerned, we should all work together. But working together, it needs some kind of processes. So in terms of participation into decision-making body or decision-making issues and leadership, there must be a process, and that process we must have to take the initiative, and we have to be bold enough to take charge of those things. As I said, for me, I'm not here to talk about myself, but I told you, I took leadership, I initiated this position since I was less than 10 years. And I believe in it, and I went for it, and I took the normal process. And today, I am right now at the parliament deciding for my fellow Gambians. So for that being the case, you cannot just sit down and just get everything in a silver plate, just like how my honorable colleague said, Honorable Bow, we have to responsibility. We have to be proactive. We have to be very open. We have to, be. In fact, he is my vice chair at the Finance and Public Accounts Committee. So for that being the case, for me, I am more in love with this grassroots politics and grassroots issues, because these are the people. This is where I started my political career, as a councillor, now to the National Assembly. So this is why whatever we are doing in terms of youth promotion, youth activities, is on the grassroots. So everything starts from the grassroots. So we encourage the young people for them to also get involved into community development. Let them participate into community service and other things. So on that note, Dr. Ellis, I am very honored to be part of this, and I am happy to share my view, and I learned a lot from you and my two honorable members. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Jame. Stay tuned because we are going to go into we are moving towards the Q&A phase. They have a lot of questions, and we need you to stick around so you can answer the questions of the young people and our viewers all over the world. Thank you very much, Honorable Karu. What are your final words to the young people? Words of what are you going to admonish them to do?
Yeah, well, I want to start by saying that we all came from someplace, and we are all going someplace. We all came from somewhere, and we're going somewhere. But in between where we came from and where we are going to, there is a space. And that space is the life we live in right now. And within this life, there is a purpose within us that has been constantly knocking, wanting to manifest in us, which we need to listen, understand, and live it. Whatever it is that we desire to come to us is desiring to come to us as well. Is desiring us as well, because it was part of the purpose that came with us. So we must understand that we have, each and individual of us has a particular role to play as part of that journey from where we came from and where we're going to. What we need to do is to understand that purpose and live it. And maybe to add to it is for us to understand that this purpose is not hidden somewhere with somebody that will hand it over to you like a note. This purpose has greeted you since the age of 3 or earlier than 3, and it never stops knocking within you throughout your lifespan. You just need to listen to yourself and begin to strengthen that voice until it becomes a place of influence. And once it becomes a place of influence within you, you naturally begin to manifest it. If you listen to all the honorables, in all that they have spoken about, they said they did certain things at their early stage of life. They were counselors, they were this, they were that. They were in leadership, they imagined leadership. We need to give ourselves time to reflect and listen to our inner selves, because that is where the entire issues of life actually reside. So let's get in the business of becoming that which we want to see out there. We have to be it. We have to represent it within us. Until we're able to see it on the screen of our imaginations, then we will never see it on the outside. But once we're able to see it, creation takes place twice. First on the mind, and then it manifests itself in reality. So let's be that change we actually desire to actually see. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Karu. Again, you have just, it is like, I think COIF needs to adopt you as one of the mentors or one of the board of directors, I don't know, because it seems like you are speaking the vision. So Coaches of Influence Foundation offers a mentorship program. All of you young people out there listening, offers a mentorship program, one in the Gambia and one that is global. It is 100% online. And the mentorship program is 3 years mentorship program. The first year of mentorship is just what Honorable Karu has just described. It's the self-discovery journey. We spend 9 months in that first year, just welcoming the young people, walking them through and coaching them in how to talk to the person on the inside, to speak to the inner person, to discover what is in there that is hindering the person that you want to become on the outside, or to look into that inside and decipher what is it that on the inside that is driving me to do the things that I do, and what is it on the inside that is calling my name and calling out to manifest. And so that 9 months is spent on just that, self-discovery. And out of this self-discovery, a lot of young people that have gone through the program have found themselves, found their voices, and they are on track, working on who they believe they are created to be. So thank you very much, Honorable Karu, for that. Thank you, Honorable Jame. Now, Honorable Mbo, your final words.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ellis, and thank you very much, honorable members and those that are listening. For me, it's two things. Don't wait to be served. Ask to be served. Prepare yourself now, or at least be part of the plan so that you know where you're going to in the future. Now, to sum it up, let's look at the education sector itself. Does your education curriculum match with the aspirations of your country? Let's try to avoid that mismatch. If your education curriculum does not match your aspirations as a country, there will be a problem and there will be a mismatch. And that's where we're going to start to have unemployment. Oh, they don't have experience, or they don't know this, they don't know that. So let's ensure we match our education curriculums, what we learn in our schools, what we learn in our secondary schools, what we learn in our high schools, and also in the colleges and in the universities. Let that match what our aspirations as a country and as a continent is. Otherwise, we'll have a mismatch. So above all, I just want to say, be yourself, be who you are, and know your worth. If you know your worth, you'll be able to define your future, and you will not allow anyone to define the future for you. Thank you.
Great, great, great. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Excellent. So at this point, we have heard a lot. I have notes, pages and pages of notes that I will come back later to summarize what I have gathered from this platform. But for now, I know that some people are itching. They are itching to have their questions being read. So because they are looking for answers, they are looking for nuggets to take home. They are setting goals right now. I believe in the young people, and I believe that some of them are setting goals right now. They are inspired. They are motivated to act, to take action, to start doing something after this session today. Some have already even started before they came. And this session have just come to power them up so they can go back and get serious about what they have started working on. So I am going to invite Binette, the co-host, and I'm going to invite Bernadette who I did share that Bernadette is the Deputy Secretary General for Coaching Guided Nation Simulations, the program that is behind this session that we are having today. I want to invite the two of them to come up and take the Q&A. So Bernadette is ready. Madam co-host, please take us through the Q&A. We are all waiting. We are all excited. We are ready. So take us through the Q&A.
Okay, this is a question from Michael Jaju. How can the young be encouraged to support the youths in all sectors of leadership instead of the following things to be as a distraction?
Okay, I think one of the areas is about mentorship. This is a particular area that us on the continent actually are not paying very close attention to. Experience doesn't come just like that. So you need to hold the hands of the younger generation, walk them through rough seas, walk them through rough forest, and mentor them along the way. Because leadership actually is keep changing. How do we provide leadership? How do you train somebody to be leadership? In leadership. So I think one of the key things is also to provide mentorship, just like what Dr. Ellis and the team actually are doing, to show them that actually you can do A, B, C, and D. And that mentoring is also going to give them encouragement. That mentoring also is going to give them the sense of belonging. And that mentorship is also going to help them to know that actually you can do this thing. So I think one of the key things is to be able to provide mentorship to the younger generation to show them. But above all, let's also look at really that they need to understand that they are here for a purpose. And to do that, they need to also learn along the way. You must not actually just fold your hands and say, okay, maybe when I'm 30 or when I'm 40, then I will understand. No, you need to start learning at a very young age. And above all, have a mentor that's going to guide you. Have a mentor that's going to show you particularly the area that you are very passionate about. If you are passionate about technology, if you are passionate about being in leadership positions, you must be able to identify somebody, or you must be able to identify an organization that could actually walk you through the lines so that you can be what you want to be much more.
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Honorable. Well said. Honorable Kano, do you have anything to add on, please?
Yeah, I think Bennett, my name,
Yes.
call me Simon. Call me Simon if you find it difficult. The name is Ru. So yeah, if you find it difficult, just say Simon. Simon is my first name, actually.
All right,
I want
sir.
to go with Honorable Mbo, and I would like to start just before where he started. So mine will be like the basic class. So I want to speak to young people. I saw one of the comments that young people want to lead, but the seats are occupied. And I love the fact that the person said the seats are occupied. So what it means is that all the seats are taken. Be yourself.
Yep.
That's exactly what it means. So if all those, and that's true, all the seats are taken, but your seat is empty. Be yourself. So there's something profound about being yourself. There's something profound about a found identity and living that identity. Nobody is Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela is Nelson Mandela. Nobody can lead like Nelson Mandela in the space of Nelson Mandela, because he lived his experiences from early childhood when he watched his father sit on round cycles, have meetings, and throughout his life to Canary Islands and back to the leadership of South Africa. That's Nelson Mandela. So he didn't have to live like Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln lived in America. He led in America. His circumstances are different. Nobody can be Nkrumah. Nobody can be Thomas Sankara. You have to be yourself. So going back to the question here, I think one other mistake that young people make is the fact that they are always looking out for somebody to mentor them. In reality, your mentor is within you from the beginning. Before anybody gets to discover you, you must exhibit some signs and symptoms. It has to be you. I began writing a book with the thinking that I wanted to write a book titled starting without a mentor. Then I realized that that can only be a chapter of the book. And then the title had to change to Listening to Your Inner Mentor. We all have to start. We are our first mentors. Before Honorable Umbo will discover you and pull you, he must see signs and symptoms of something worth holding your hands for. Let's go back to the baby, the infant, or rather, let's go back to the fetus. The mother does not decide when the child comes out of the baby, also out of her womb. It's not the mother. The mother can decide that, okay, I want to get pregnant at so time, yes. But the day the child comes out of the mother's womb is not the mother's decision. It is the baby's decision. The baby gets very uncomfortable where it is and makes the first move to come out. And then the mother experiences what is called, the pain. What I don't know what I've forgotten what is called. So
labor.
that's the labor pains. So young people must understand that they hold their destinies and they begin the mentorship. When you begin to show signs, the honorable gentleman will begin to see that this guy can we hold him? So in conclusion, I want to say something, and I want to quote it from the Book of Books, where it says, train up a child in the way he should go. So let us understand the emphasis. He should go, meaning whoever is training that child watches the child to see the way the child is going and then trains him. So mentorship starts where? From you. Then a mentor discovers you and then trains you to greatness. So that's just what I will add here. It has to begin with the youth.
All right, sir. Thank you, Honorable Simon. Mr. Jammeh. All right.
Yes, please.
This question goes to you. It's from our Kebe. How best do you think youths can represent not the youth parliament, but as NAMs? Do you think we can or need a party quota system to be voted so that the youth will be in forefront of political parties?
Yes, basically, as far as political parties are concerned in the Gambia, normally they have a structure in the party called youth structure. That is the youth wing. Mm-hmm. So the youth wing normally is headed by a youth mobilizer. So the structure is there. It's just a matter of only few youths normally have the appetite of involving into political parties. And if you want to get into leadership, because you must have to engage yourself into political parties so that they can recognize your effort, your contribution towards the party. Then if selection comes, you can apply, and if possible, they will select you. So if they select you, you can go for election. But that is at the level of the political, parties. But even if you are in the political parties, what is more important here is your effort, your responsibility, and some of your activities that you do in that particular community, because it's very important. You cannot be in a political party, being a youth, taking responsibility of a political party, and at the same time you are not useful in the society or in the community. Even though you are in the political party, it's important for you to be proactive as far as the community service, community engagements are concerned. So when we talk about youth to be voted or whatever, it has to go through a process. And in the Gambia, you have to be in a political party, or you can even stand independent. So if you are very proactive as a young man or as a youth, you can contest on the independent ticket and you can win, because in this current parliament, we have so many young people who contested as independent candidates and they won. They won because of their activities. They were so proactive in their communities. So this is very important, and I think in as much as we want the young people to get into the leadership position, it's always important, like what they said, they have to take, greater sense of their own life. You need to know what you want and you go for it. And the example I gave it, when I was young, I took up the initiative and I followed the trend, and I was able to become a National Assembly member. It doesn't just come overnight. When I finished school, I joined political party. And when I was there, that doesn't stop me from doing other activities, because I try to set up my own foundation, and I was affiliated with a lot of community organizations within the community. So anything that has to do with my community, be it cleansing or be it any engagement, I'm always there. So the community will see and know me. So this is why, in fact, when I was coming as a councillor, I did not go directly to apply, but it's stakeholders who even approached me for me to come and apply. So after serving for 2 terms as a councillor, the same community members, they came and said, now the parliamentary election is coming. We want you to resign from the councillorship and vie for the position of a National Assembly member, which I did, and they voted for me, and I won with absolute majority. So, meaning there's no magic in this. You just have to believe yourself, know what you want, and you go for it.
Thank you, Honorable Jammeh. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Bennett. I just wanted to interject. I wanted to interject and contribute, Bennett. Thank you, Honorable, for that response. It's detailed. I just wanted the other honorables, Honorable Bo and Honorable Karu, to look at the second part of the question also. I think that the person that asked the question is also asking whether, instead of having to be in youth parliament, can they just go and be nominated as National Assembly members? And does that have to come only through the political party quota? So even though, Honorable Jammeh, you have responded to that to some extent, I wanted Honorable Karu to also weigh in his thoughts. What do you think, Honorable Karu? What is the pathway for a young person who is not maybe connected to any political party, but wants to participate as a National Assembly member? What path can they take to get there? Thank you.
Well, I think just like you mentioned that Honorable Jammeh has responded through what is called the independent candidate. Not all countries actually have that as part of the electoral laws. Like in Nigeria, we don't have that. We've struggled over time. I think there was a time it almost got through, but then it hasn't become a law in Nigeria. But when it comes to influence and when it comes to leadership, position is secondary. What is important is being or living a life of significance, and then you can influence people. And I want to throw a challenge to any young person who is here. Search online and search for 20 most influential Africans. I can bet you will not find more than 3 politicians on the list. The rest goes to different sectors of human endeavors. And they are creating life of meaning. They are living a life of significance. But to be more specific, since the young man or the young lady asked in terms of being members of the National Assembly, depending on the electoral laws, which is country dependent. Some countries have independent candidates. People can actually get to do that. But listen and remember, nobody votes nothing into power. You must be of value to be recognized such that someone can stick or put a thumbprint to vote you. So first of all, have on the back of your mind that I want to live a life of significance. I want to live a life of value. I want to be able to lead a life of significance and a life of value to my community. First, that is what attracts position. Position is not a place to desire to go to. A life of value and a purpose takes you to such places. So if you heard Honorable Jammeh mention that he was a counselor, I wish Honorable Njame will tell us, how did he get to become a councillor? So that young people get to understand the basics, that you must be valuable to occupy a position. Nothing occupies a position. Something occupies a position. So value occupies a position, and leadership value occupies leadership positions on that part. So for me, yes, aspiring to be a member of parliament is important, be it in a political party or in as an independent candidate. Yes, you can strive to see that your political parties create a quota system for young people to run. In Nigeria, for example, most forms for political or elected political offices are at a 50% discount for young people, and then zero cost for women who dare to run in those political offices. So that has been achieved in political parties in Nigeria. But yes, what is important that I want to close with is be a person of value, and you can attract whatever you want to come to your table.
If it is one thing that I have to take home, if it is one thing that we have to take home is value and purpose, and lastly, identity. A leader should have a purpose. You can't wake up in a day and be like, I want to be a president. You have to take a pathway. And all of this was said by Mr. Honorable Simon Caro. We thank you, sir. We appreciate you. We go back to the question and answers. We have Michael Jaju. How can the youth in rural areas be enlightened on this kind of platform? Because I can say in my area, there is no availability as of such.
Earlier on, when Honorable Karu was speaking, he talked about youth engagement. He talked about participation. And one of the points that he really hit hard on was the fact that gone are the days when anyone will be limited by location. Anyone will be limited by their geographical location to participate and to contribute or to grow or to become. And he did expound on the point that anybody can be anywhere today and connect via the internet. So, Michael, to address your question, a program like this is posted and introduced and marketed everywhere on our social media platforms for more than 4 weeks now. So if there is any young person in the country or outside the country, in the continent, that is not aware of this program today, it is because they are not connected on the platform where they should be connected. So young people, again, should prioritize. You have the phone in your hand, you have data, you have your social media. But who are you following? And who are you really learning from? Because who you follow determines what you become. So if you're not connected to the youth platforms where you can be educated and trained and groomed, then you will miss out on so many opportunities. And that's not because you're located in the rural area. That's because you're not on the right platforms. That's because you are not following a certain page. So I want to encourage you, Michael, to let the youth in your community know that they can be part of anything. This particular organization, we have a branch in the Gambia, a very robust and active branch. It has been operating for 5 years now in the Gambia, mentored and graduated a lot of young people that are still, some are still in their process of 3 years mentorship program. A lot of people in the Gambia should know if they are connected on the right platforms. And if they don't know, Michael, they are here you are today. So be the advocate, be the mouthpiece, be the voice that will be our ambassador in the rural area to market and to tell them about this organization and to encourage them to go on social media, connect on our pages, like, comment, share, because if they are connected, they will be informed. That is what I have to say. Thank you very much.
Well said, Doctor. We go on to Ms. Fatumane. She has a question for us. What roles are the National Assembly members in the Gambia playing to bridge the mismatch gap between what our education system is offering and what our purpose are closing the unemployment gap? Mr. Jammeh, we kindly proceed to you.
Thank you very much. I think I will be very happy to answer that. Because so far so good. There is a program, new education program that is already been introduced in our educational sector under the Minister of Higher Education, Science and Technology. That is the TPEC education. So wherein, even though if you happen to go through this normal schooling, but the TPEC education is purposely to at least, build the capacity of young people as far as skills is concerned. So Tibet education is more of something that right now, in fact, the higher education is investing a lot of money. And one of our school called GTTI now is transformed as a Tibet education. And in fact, it doesn't stop from there. In fact, now they are also trying to introduce that to the Arabic students because we have the English and the Arabic. So the Arabic students, mostly they don't have the opportunity to be able to work in the government sector because of their pattern, So, but now we want to get this debate education both in English and Arabic so that everybody can be, at least empowered to be able to, at least realize their potential. So the gap between, because at the end of the day, the educational system that we have, we will not say is 100% perfect, but normally it's the responsibility of the government also to open and to create the enabling environment for people to explore. So right now, this is what is in, and we hope that with time, young people should also, in fact, when that environment is there, but basically also is the responsibility of the government to open up that space wherein people can have access to this education, depending because people, may not, join this educational system because they don't have enough resources or financially they are not strong. So, but right now, the higher education, they are coming up with a strategy wherein at least to break the gap between our education system and the opportunity for people to be well educated so that they can be productive in society and also get employed. Because it doesn't mean government has to employ everybody. There are certain education when you do it, you can employ yourself. As a community member, right now, because you understand, most of our young people are taking this bad route, bad quality to Europe. But we have equal young people who are skilled and now they have their own workshop because there is a project that we call in our community, method project. So that project is giving people who are doing well, and they are the ones who are making all those lighting at our own level, at the community. So for that being the case, I think the opportunities are there. It's just it depends how you have to explore those opportunities around you. But equally also it's challenging because as we know, we are in a very small country, and the number of people graduating from school is many. So we will try, but the education should not be only for you to be employed, but you should also employ others.
Thank you, sir. I kindly need a contribution from Honorable Karu. As in Nigeria, I know it's a National Youth Service Corps that they take an enrollment for a year after university. With the state at which Mr. Honorable Jammeh said our population here in the Gambia is small, yours in Nigeria is a huge population. How do you manage in a rate of unemployment gaps?
Well, I think this question has different dimensions, and responding to them will require a bit of tact in terms of policies drawn and the role the executive actually gets to play in terms of reducing that. It's a policy-driven approach. But I want to come from an individual point of view where I would like to make reference to I don't know whether it's a mythical or it's a true life story of the cartoon or the book about Robinson Crusoe, who found himself in an island all alone, and before he left with wealth. So what I'm trying to say here is that unemployment is actually relative in the real sense from the point of an individual. And so I'm going to first answer from the other point of view before I get back to the point of policies. No man is born with nothing. They say necessity is the mother of all inventions. We only need to look within and look around us and get to see what are those things that are possible that we can get started with. We didn't come with nothing. So around us are opportunities, and out of every problem, there's a good side of it. We will be able to see what it is. In Nigeria, you find a lot of people complaining that our population is too much, and that's the reason why a lot of people are suffering. But here in the Gambia says that our population is small. How do we get to manage that? So you can see the discourse around population, whether more or little. But what I feel is that the leadership needs to understand the value of people. Small, good. Big, good. It depends on the ability of the leadership to understand what works best. The National Service Corps, which is the NYC in Nigeria, which I speak highly of all the time, because first is that it bridges and brings about integration. I had to travel to the southeastern part of Nigeria for the very first time during my National Youth Service. And I met an entirely new life, entirely new culture, entirely new set of people, which is valuable. That in itself is valuable. I came from a different cultural background and I met a new one, and all of us are Nigerians. So what I feel is Gambia can actually influence the educational system to bridge unemployment by making individuals find value for themselves as themselves, not the value of a certificate that earns them a job somewhere. We should learn to be creative. We should be taught, and I could remember when I picked up a program in Germany under the YMCA, Human Development Program. The program director interfaced with me and she said, Simon, what we want out of this program is not a certificate that people will carry about to look for jobs, but we want to build in the capacities of people that will become employers of labor, create opportunities for others, and so on. Since I keyed into that vision, I have become an employer of labor. In fact, if I spend a year without innovating a program within my organization that will make me employ more people, I feel sick. I feel sick because I feel I should be creating opportunities for young people to drive a process. I left the National Assembly June this year, and I had to go back and review what my organization had been doing in the past 4 years in my absence. And I had to create 4 different companies within that, subsidiaries of the company. And I've been running them for the past 4 months successfully on that part. So what I think is we should rejig the educational system to bring value for people, to be creators and innovators, to bridge the gap of unemployment, but not for us to be dishing out certificates for them to go and look for jobs because the jobs have been taken. But we are still there to occupy our positions and our God-given purpose and so on. So let me not take so much of the time on that, but this is my opinion. Value system within the educational system to individuals to become men of purpose, men of value that will add value to the educational system, and even to the labor market.
Thank you, Honorable Carol. If it is one thing that we all are taking home today is value. Value, purpose, and identity. With Honorable Jammeh, I could kindly request that your members of your constituency, your youths are proud of you. They're on the comment section right now, saying that you represented them well. And indeed, you said something very remarkable. Catch them young. If you want to start a process, you don't have to sleep when you're old enough to do it. It starts from a stage. And from each stage, you learn. And when you learn, you elevate from those things. We want to thank you all for this honorable session that we had with you. Our members of the Parliament, we are fully appreciative of what you've left your time. You come here with us to discuss with this in a noble place and in time. We fully appreciate you. And if that's not the case, our viewers are really, really indebted. They have learned a lot. They are nourished. They have been seasoned with knowledge, and they have seasoned themselves and said to themselves, look, we are going out there and begin our own mantle of leadership. And this is what we want as youths, both here in the Gambia and internationally. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Dr.
Bennett.
Margaret.
Appreciate you. Honorables Karu. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Bennett. Honorables Karu and Honorable Jame, thank you. We cannot appreciate you enough for taking time out of your busy schedules to prepare for days now and weeks now for this session today, availing yourselves. You are very busy people. We appreciate you. We are not taking it lightly that you are here with us. Thank you for sacrificing your time. You have just modeled to all of us today that leadership is sacrifice, because you could have been elsewhere. You could have been doing something else. Maybe that will even yield a value in money. But you are here because you believe that this is important. You believe that you are, as leaders, you represent people, and when those people need to hear from you, you avail yourself. We appreciate you so much. We're not going to take any more of your time because we know you are very busy. So we are going to continue the session, because now it is time for Binet and I to have our commentary. So now it is now our time to go back and dig into most of the things that you've shared, just to give our viewers some takeaways. And then we will close the session. But be open, because we may have you back. This Diplomatic Talk series is offered once every quarter, and every topic we cover on this platform is related to politics, diplomacy, leadership, and governance. So be on the lookout. We may reach out to you in the future for another session. And even if we're not reaching out to you when we do have the sessions, follow us on our social media pages, connect with us, do come on board, do share as a participant, share as a viewer, because all of you are a wealth of encouragement and a wealth of knowledge for our generation and the generations after us. So thank you very much for your time. We appreciate you, honorables. And Binet, we have to stay on board, because now we have to share our highlights and our takeaways, and then wrap up the session. Are the young people there? Can we show appreciation to our honorables? And even Honorable Mbo, who could not join us, he dropped off. Can you please show appreciation? Production team, can you show us the appreciation? Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Karu. They say you are very inspiring. Thank you very much for your time, Honorable Jame. Thank you very much. Bernadette says, Honorable, you are inspiring, Honorable Karu. Thank you very much. Can we see those comments coming? They are appreciating you. They have been commenting. Thank you all, Honorable Fatu Jom says. Let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. And in the meantime, if you're on the platform, can you tell us which country you are tuning in from? We want to know where you are tuning in from. And so that we can appreciate your country. Thank you very much, sir. Eva Gomez says, thank you very much, sir. We appreciate you all. Thank you, honorables. We will now thank you, the top-notch speakers. Oh my goodness, you are top-notch speaker. You have been rated. Hey, wow. I want to be like both of you when I grow up. Thank you very much. This is inspiring. We really appreciate you, and continue the work that you are doing in helping Africa and our countries to build up and to become better. Thank you very much, Honorable. Thank you. It was a fruitful session. Aissatou Ceesay says, Barrister Aissatou Ceesay. We appreciate you very much. Thank you very much. All right. So, Binet, we have highlights. If you're not busy, Honorables, we welcome you to stay and hear our highlights if you're not busy. But if you have some other commitments, we are fine with you leaving us. Thank you. All right, Binet. If you are here with us, this is Diplomatic Talks. with Coaches United Nations Simulations. That is a program within Coaches of Influence Foundation, a youth and women's organization with a focus to raise an army of influencers for global impact. So this is what we are doing here today. We're just equipping and marinating and giving you tools to become influencers for intergenerational impact. And we have captured a lot of things, a lot of nuggets, as the speakers were speaking. Binet and I have captured nuggets. So we want to share with you. Don't go anywhere. Tell us where you are tuning in from. From the Gambia, Abdullah Bojan, thank you very much. Who else? Who else is online? And Joseph Vicente Mendy, thank you. Thank you very much for the acknowledgement. Sadibu says he's from the Gambia. Is it? Do we only have Gambia in the house? Kadijatu says we are inspired. And Anchu says thank you. Do we only have Gambia in the house? Is there any other country in Africa that is in the house? Please make yourselves known from whatever platform you're joining from. Thank you very much. Binet, I'll allow you first to go and share with us your nuggets, your takeaways from each of the speakers. That for those that joined late and those that had internet issues and those that were here, they were trying to write very fast, but they could not capture everything. Can we give them a summary, please, before we close? Watching from Canada. Ooh, Canada is in the house. USA. Wow, awesome. USA is in the house. All right now. Gambia is still dominating. Where are the others? Come on. Bina, take it away.
Okay. From Honorable Mbo, he said something about the young parliament. And everyone here wants to be a leader. Everyone wants our voices to be heard. And as we could say, it takes stages for each and every one of us to be there. And if you want to be a young parliament, you cannot start the day or the week before elections or a year before elections. It has to come within a year or 5 years to come. You walk towards the community. You have to engage the community to know you. You can be educated and all, but if you don't start young and let people walk through you, and when we are young, we need to accept one thing, that we cannot be everywhere. We have to have an understanding of purpose. In each and every organization that you serve in, as Honorable Karu said, you have to understand your value and then your purpose. If you're in an organization of 10 organizations, you cannot serve all the 10. It's impossible because they each has a role to play. And all of these things, you cannot be there. It is nice to be in every organization, but what is your purpose in fulfilling those purpose in necessary of those organizations? If you fulfill your purpose, then people will trust you in the mantle of leadership. If you don't fulfill them, you just talk and not implement, they won't honor you. And these are things that I've learned, and it's my takeaway. And with Honorable Jammeh, it's a dynamic of leadership. Leadership is ladder. You climb and then you learn, and then you let people teach you. If you're wrong, you accept it. He started from at the age of 10. He could have given up, but he still enjoys what he does. And we learned today that humility and appreciate your people.
We have USA and Ghana in the house. Ghana is represented. Canada is in the house. The Gambia is in the house. USA is here. Who else is here? Who else is here? Do we have anybody from Togo? Do we have anybody from Burkina Faso? Do we have anybody from South Africa? Do we have anybody from Zimbabwe? Do we have anybody from Zambia? Where are the Africans? Where are y'all? Where are y'all? Show yourselves. Show yourselves. If you're not here right now, when you do watch this broadcast later on, do make sure that you register your country's presence. Do make sure that you are an ambassador of your country by telling us where you're watching it from. Because even after the show today, it will continue to be, we'll continue to gather those comments, and we'll always be able to go back and thank your country for allowing you, giving you the opportunity to participate. Thank you, Binet. It looks like you have more to say. You had a glitch there. So go ahead, Binet. I'm learning.
Yes, it is said and all done. Like in the comment section, like we said, Everyone is amused. Everyone is amazed with the honorable speakers. They did well to this topic. They did justice. I really appreciate it. And we thank you as well for hosting this. It is a noble opportunity for me to co-host with you in this noble platform. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Binet. We thank the Secretariat, the current Secretariat of Coaches United Nations Simulation, under the leadership of Honorable Abdul Karim Baji, Honorable Bernadette Mendy, and those are the Secretary General, Abdul Karim Baji, and the Deputy Secretary General, Bernadette Mendy, and their entire team of 10. They are a team of 12 people that are moving this mountain and making things happen. So we appreciate you all. This is what leadership is all about. I believe that honorables, all the honorables in the secretariat, I don't want to mention names lest I miss someone and then I get in trouble for not mentioning somebody's name. But I know that Honorable Fatumane is here. She has been in the secretariat for 3 solid years and she is still leading and making waves. Honorable Fatumata Conte, who was the voiceover for that beautiful video that we all saw, and Honorable Fatu Conte is contributing. Honorable Inga, Honorable Simon Kangakan, and Honorable Sadibu, the best administrative assistants that this secretariat have ever had. You know, Honorable Samuel Mendy, who is there with us also. You know, this is why I don't want to mention names. Fatumata Jallo is there, and she is also part of the committee, the secretariat. We appreciate all of you. If I've missed your name, forgive me. I'm just excited right now. That's why I missed your name. It is not for any other purpose. So forgive me. We appreciate you all. If you want to see all of the honorables, go to our website, Coaches United Nations Simulation. Is mycons, CUNS.org. MUYCONS.org. You will see all the secretariat. Ben Edward is there. Honorable Ben Edward is one of them. So there are 12 of them that are moving this mountain, and they have helpers on the side. They have the Vice President of Coaches of Influence Foundation, Mr. George Mara. Thank you, sir. Hats off to you. We have our coordinator of programs in the Gambia, Jacob Fernandi Mendy. This is happening because a team of young people are moving this mountain. So this is what we are talking about today. If young people come together, we can make things, you can make things happen. I know I am youth, but today I'll take a back seat. Today I'm taking a back seat. I am the elder in the house today. And so today I give Binet the youth role, and all of you that are commenting, you can be the youth and the elder. All right. So Simon Karu, my takeaways. I have a lot, but I'll summarize it. There are some things that Karu said that really stuck out to me, Binet. Karu said that get to know who you are. And he even gave the example of Nelson Mandela and all the people that want to be like somebody. I see young people today, you even want to talk like somebody. You want to act like somebody. You are doing things, you're running a race when nobody is chasing you. But you just feel like you have to do things. You feel like you have to be seen. You have to be heard. You don't have to do any of that. You can just be yourself, and you'll attract people to yourself. And a lot of you are doing that. You are being yourself. You are developing yourself, and you are becoming very attractive. Thank you very much. And he says leadership is a spirit. And he says whoever dares to take on that spirit becomes a leader. It is not you being appointed. So those of you who are very bitter in the organizations that you are in, you are bitter that they did not give me the opportunity to travel. I could be the manager of the office, but they made somebody else manager. They are sidelining me. They are putting me down. They are trying to sabotage me. They are fighting me. You are saying all these things, and you're harboring bitterness in your heart against people who are not even bitter against you. But the point is that if you take on the spirit of leadership, leadership will find you. So if you are not being called out, you are not being given the responsibility, you're being sidelined. Yes, those people could be mean, they could be wicked, they could be insecure, they could be fighting you, they could be all of that you think. But you have to withdraw and go back to look at the inner person. What is it in me, or what is it that I am doing that is making them sideline me? And when you dig deep, you will find that the spirit of leadership is absent. Because when you take on that spirit, nobody can sideline you. Nobody. Nobody can sideline you. All right. So there is a lot that has been said. Honorable Jame said, build confidence between the young and the old. And he said the young people can use the political parties to build themselves up and develop to come up. And Honorable Jame also says that youth in the civil society organizations are contributing at the community level. If there is anything Honorable Jame emphasized on this in this session today, Honorable Jame emphasized that grassroots level is everything. If you are relevant as a citizen of your nation, you are contributing at some level of society, you will be attractive to be put in a leadership position to lead at the national level. Nobody will bring a stranger from nowhere that nobody has ever seen, nobody have ever heard from, has not contributed anything, and you want to be put in parliament, you want to be voted in as president. You have to contribute. If you do something from the grassroots level, you'll become attractive to leadership. All right, and Honorable Bo said a lot. But I will just summarize it. I have so many notes. If you want to know everything else, talk to me on the side in private. Call me. I'll read out to you all the notes. But for here, I'll just summarize. Honorable Bo says that the age disparity needs to be looked at. I liked his comment. He was very fair. Honorable Bo says that how can somebody be 18 years? They are good enough to vote somebody else into power, but they are not good enough to be voted themselves. So they have to vote other people, clap for other people for 3 years before they become eligible to just go to parliament. And they have to vote so many other years until they become 30 to even think of becoming a president. So Honorable Boy says that this must be looked at because young people need to be given a chance to come to the table. I so loved his comment. He was very fair. He was very fair on that comment. Would you agree with me, young people? Where are you? Do you agree with Honorable Bo? I agree with him 100%. If I'm good to vote, I am good to be voted. I love that. All right. And Honorable Bo also said another thing that I have captured that I wanted to share. Bo also said that uh, um, um, more, more is needed on the side of executives. He said that even though some political parties are opening up opportunities for young people to participate, but it is not at the executive level. It is not at the decision-making level. It is not at the top level where they can add their voices and contribute and see their idea being implemented. We already had when Coaches United Nations Simulation was founded back in 2021, this program, the diplomatic talks was already part of the programs that we wanted to execute. But it is this secretariat that is in place right now in 2023 that have said we are going to pick up these diplomatic talks and we are going to make sure we effect it. They worked hard on it from February and they were able to launch it in May. So, which means that we gave the secretariat an executive seat in the leadership to be able to contribute, add value, and we take their contribution and implement it. Can you imagine how these young ones feel today, seeing the hard work and the fact that they were resilient to push for this to be launched and seeing it being launched and seeing so many people's lives being blessed? This is what leadership is all about. So, thank you very much. I have so much more to say, but we got to go. We got to go. So,
Yeah.
Binet, I'll give you an opportunity to share your closing remarks, and I'll share my closing remarks, and then we call it a day. But stay tuned, don't go anywhere because we have announcements to make. And then we can call it a day, and we will see you in the next quarter. Binet, over to you.
All right. Thank you all for the participants and for all the honorable speakers, the moderators. Dr. Stan, he's out there, he's behind the scenes, but shout out to him, Daniel, and also Dr. Ellis. Thank you so much. I am proud to be a alumni of COIF, and I'm called anytime. I will be available. Thank you so much.
All right, all right, all right. Can you appreciate Binet? Is she not a fine young lady? She is a fine. I don't say that young people. I'm not saying that to say she's available. I just say she's fine. So she's a fine young lady. Bennett, thank you so much for the spirit of leadership in you, and thank you for answering to the call and being here. I know that next session somebody else from the alumni will be stepping on the platform to co-moderate or even to host. How about that? So so that this is getting very interesting. So viewers, participants, and even our speakers who are no longer here, we thank you all for your valuable contributions to the Diplomatic Talk series today. We want you all to keep in mind that this program will come your way every quarter, and even in between, if you just feel like there's a hot topic that we want to discuss, we will come together. So the program is geared towards fostering informed discussions, promoting democratic values, and empowering Africa's youth to become active leaders in shaping the continent's future. So, our deepest desire is to engage in strategic conversations on critical political issues, on diplomacy, and the path towards a more democratic and youth led governance in the African continent. So if you're not connected with us, if you're not on any of our social media pages, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, what are you waiting for? You are missing out. So we want you to connect with us today. We want you to subscribe to our channels. We want you to follow us on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube, on our pages, so you can be informed on even on our website. So you can be informed of events and you can participate effectively. You would like to stay informed, because tell you what, we think that this diplomatic talks session is hot today. You have not seen anything, because in January, on January 27th, 2024, live in the Gambia, we are going to host an epic empowerment youth forum. And when we say youth in COIF, we mean youth. So in this forum, we have mentees and alumni members of COIF, people that are in the mentorship, growing, developing, discovering themselves or have discovered themselves, people that are very committed to becoming better and finding themselves and becoming that voice in their society, in their generation, the influencers, the army of influencers that are being raised out of the programs that this organization is offering. They are going to be the speakers. You don't want to miss. They will host, they will moderate, they will speak, they will do Q&A live. You come out there. It is all about them on that day. So please do not miss it. And the only way you cannot miss it is if you are connected to us, if you are informed, if you are staying on our social media pages, if you are liking, you're commenting, you're looking at the flyers, you're registering, because a registration will be needed to participate. So Epic Empowerment Youth Forum, live in the Gambia, Saturday, January 27th, 2024, and it is all about youth on that day. So please come out and see your fellow youth. COIF have right now, we have youth that are barristers. We have youth that are business consultants like Binet. We have youth that are medical students. We have youth that are actually, entrepreneurs and making waves, not only in the Gambia, but outside the Gambia. We have some dynamic youth like the Fatou Manes, like the Ajinumbe Jobs, like the Abdul Karim Bajis. I cannot even list them here. There are so many, and I don't want to get in trouble for missing somebody out. We have some dynamic young people that are ready. You will hear from them. You will see them. Look at the secretariat, what they are doing. All of them in the secretariat are dynamic. All of them in our youth leadership are dynamic. All of them in the alumni are dynamic. You don't even know that most of these things that are being moved in that country right now is coming from some of the young people that you'll be hearing from on January 27th. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. Be there. Be there. So again, it is nice. I know we have gotten to the peak. This flight has flown all the way to the highest altitude, and it is now coming down to land, because whatever takes off must also land. So we are about to land. We have spent a great time together with you, the viewers from different countries and different continents, and you're tuning in on our different social media platforms. But it is time to go. Thank you so much for your commitment to join us on this journey of youth development and building of the continent of Africa. Coaches of Influence Foundation is focused on delivering programs that are focused on shifting the thinking pattern of young people and shaping your character and molding you into becoming transformational leaders for your generation and the generations after you. So join us on the next talk that is coming your way very soon in the next quarter. And until then, remember to increase your leadership gauge and be the diplomat that Africa will be proud of. Thank you very much and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Thank you.